In his student life, he came in contact with the Western intellectual tradition through the works of Kant, Hegel, Hume, and Herbert Spencer, to whom he had once written a letter. The scientific ideas and nihilistic thoughts of Western thinkers shook to their foundation the religious beliefs he had inherited. They raised such a tumult in his mind that he despaired of any final answer. Raja Ram Mohan Rai, the founder of Brahmo Samaj, had broken away from the rituals, the image worship, and the priestcraft of Orthodox Hinduism. As an intellectually alive young person, Naren could not but be interested. He had joined the Samaj partly because of his sympathy with its program of social reforms. But this did not satisfy his deeper spiritual yearnings. Of a strong, positive cast of mind, he wanted to see the truth, face to face, and not merely hear talks about it. In those days, Keshab Chandra Sen was a renowned orator and religious leader of the Samaj. There were also men like Vijay Krishna Goswami, Shivnath Shastri, and others. They all spoke of a merciful God and delivered sermons learned and beautiful to hear. But Naren's hunger remained. The doubts lingered still. Does God really exist? If so, has he form, or is he formless? Has anybody seen God? Can he be seen? How? In his agony and despair, Naren went round the leaders of different sects in the city and its suburbs. He had a single and straight question.
Have you seen God? Have you seen God? Have you seen God?
But none could answer. At last he thought of going to Maharshi Devendranath Thakur, the venerable leader of the Brahmo Samaj. Devendranath was then staying in a houseboat on the Ganga. There went Narendranath unannounced. At the time, the Maharshi was in deep meditation when Naren suddenly pushed open the door and stood before him, agitated but respectfully.
Sir, have you seen God?
No, my boy, but you have the eyes of a yogi. You should practice meditation. If a person like the Maharshi could not give a positive answer, then who could? Was there anything in religion after all? Obstinate questionings racked his youthful soul. But soon, relief would come from unexpected quarters. After a few days, one of his cousins, who had been watching his movements, Ramchandra Datto, told Naren, Naren, if you really wish to lead a spiritual life, you should go to Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar.
What? You ask me to go to that illiterate priest of Kali? What does he know? I have read Kant, Hegel, Hume, Spencer, and you now ask me to go to a man who does not even know how to write his own name.
But Naren, what is the harm in a visit? Ramchandra said. Even if you do not like the man, you may like the place. Argument indeed. One day, he went to Dakshineshwar and paid a visit to the temple of Kali on the eastern bank of the river, where Ramakrishna was then living. Sri Ramakrishna took to him at once. But Naren had other things on his mind, and after a few preliminaries, he shocked the assembled group by asking his inevitable question.
Sir, have you seen God?
Yes, I see him just as I see you here, only in a much intenser way. Yes? Yes, God can indeed be realized like that. Not only that, you can talk to him as I am talking to you. For the first time, he was face to face with a man who said openly and without guile that he had seen God and even talked to him. He had met his match, for Ramakrishna, though ignorant in the worldly sense of the term, had crossed the ocean of illusion and realized the supreme truth. He was a Siddha, an avatar, and he had already marked Norin for his own. Here the goddess Kali had revealed herself to her devoted child, Ramakrishna, and bestowed upon him all the divine grace of a transcendental wisdom. Kali, the mother goddess, has often been misunderstood in and out of India. The word Kali is derived from Kal or time. Hence, she is a symbol of death and destruction. In another and deeper sense, she is also the transcendence in which all mental ideas and forms disappear. In the inner view of things, she is a power of Brahman or reality. If, in one hand, she holds the severed head, in the other she offers boons and protection. Destroyer and preserver, Kali the mother is the goddess of the brave and the heroic. Sri Ramakrishna was seated on his bed, relaxed, when Norin entered and approached him. Ramakrishna was very glad to see Norin, as he always was. But the next moment, the saint had gone into a deep ecstasy. Then he muttered something and came closer and closer to where Norin was sitting. He stood up, still in ecstasy, and touched Norin's body.
What are you doing to me? I have my parents at home.
All right, all right. Let's rest now. Everything will come in time. And for a while, all was as before. But really, it would never be the same again. The incident, first of a series, amazed Norin. Thereafter, he could not help thinking more and more of Sri Ramakrishna. But he would not give in so easily. A part of his being still questioned. Could this be hypnotism? He wondered. It was something that he could not explain. Anyway, Norin continued to visit Dakshineshwar. At times, he openly ridiculed Ramakrishna, which hurt and shocked the simple devotees. But for all that, he could not deny or resist the unbounded love and childlike simplicity of the saint. It was at this time that Norin, then barely 21, was faced with unexpected difficulties. His father passed away. A large-hearted man, Sri Vishwanath Datta, had lived beyond his means and left no savings. Here he is, without rest, without security, on the Maidan in Calcutta. There was nothing he had not tried and failed. At last, Norin went to Sri Ramakrishna and prevailed upon him to appeal to Mother Kali to relieve the distress of his family. To this, Sri Ramakrishna said, I have never asked for any material gains from my mother. I cannot do that even now. But if you go to the temple this evening and ask for yourself, I assure you, the mother will grant you whatever you ask for.
But why will she listen to me?
I say she will, Ramakrishna said. It was evening. Sri Ramakrishna asked Norin to go inside the temple and pray to the mother. He went accordingly. Ramakrishna asked, Did you ask the mother to remove the distress of your family? Norin said,
Oh no, I forgot.
What did you ask for then? Asked Ramakrishna.
I asked for wisdom, devotion, and renunciation.
Go and ask again. Naren went thrice, but every time, like his master, for himself, he could not ask anything. Naren had a fierce intellect. For 6 years he struggled and struggled. But during this period he learned prodigiously. Among other things, he learned from his matchless master or guru. All the rivers flow to the same ocean of supreme being. The goal is the same for all. He learned that the one who is Hori to the Hindus is Allah to the Muslims. And that the Father in heaven, to whom the Christians pray, is but another name of the same supreme being.
Pirnantu Vishwe Amritasya Putra Aye Dhamani Divyani Tastu Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Varnam Tamasah Parastat Tameva Viditvati Mrityumeti Nanna Pantha Vidyate Hayanaya.
Thus spake Ramakrishna to the disciple he had marked and chosen. To Narendranath, his guru seemed to symbolize India's ageless culture, a living embodiment of all that was best in man and in India. From Sri Ramakrishna, he learnt that religion was not something to be merely talked about, but that it must be realized and lived out. He also learned that unity in diversity was nature's plan, and that India had a message for the world today. He must live that truth and spread the Master's message, come what may. In the meantime, Sri Ramakrishna had fallen seriously ill and had to be removed to this garden house at Kashipur in the neighborhood of Calcutta. The end was near. He advised the disciples to dedicate their lives to the service of God and man. He also nominated Naren as the head of the group. He called the 12 disciples and gave them the ochre robes, the age-old symbol of the ascetic life in India. He gave some final instructions to Naren. Take care of the boys, he said. Thus was formed the nucleus of the Ramakrishna order or mission. 4 days before he passed away, he called Naren. Soon he went into deep ecstasy, but for some time he kept looking intently at Naren's eyes. He was clearly concentrating for a purpose. Naren felt as if a subtle force resembling an emanation of electric energy was flowing into his body. Naren, today I have given you all I had. There is nothing of my own left. Now with these you shall carry out great tasks in the world. And on the 15th of August, 1886, the Master passed away. But he had left a successor, trained for mighty deeds. After the passing away of the Master, the young disciples lived in this tumble-down house which no one else would rent. The house enjoyed the reputation of being haunted. It certainly looked its part. For their daily needs, they had to beg from door to door. Not all were as kindly as this lady here. For many days they had just rice and salt, an austere diet indeed. But they did not complain. The brave band was undaunted, and Noren kept the group going valiantly and patiently towards wider horizons of service, sacrifice, and fulfillment of the Master's wishes. Soon a break came. In India, it is customary to go on pilgrimage. The Swami felt the urge, and for some time he became a wandering monk or parivrajika. For him, it was a new experience of India and her people, and must have sharpened his sense of mission.